Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another meal prep / batch cooking video. So this week's meal prep I kept super simple, but there are a couple of recipes in here that you could incorporate into your Thanksgiving or Christmas Eve, Christmas dinner, and enjoy it just as much as you would if you were not on keto. So let's get into this easy peasy yet delicious meal prep. All right, so we are going to start out with just some smoked sausage that I'm going to cook in the air fryer. I got this one. This is Sam's Choice that I got at Walmart. Fairly clean ingredients. The macros are on point. So I just cut it up into fourths, placed it in the air fryer basket, and super simple way to cook sausage. And it's a great way to get your protein and fats in. I personally love utilizing the air fryer for things like this because it's so easy and so quick. I left it at 400 degrees, but I reduced the time to around 7 minutes, and that did the trick. I did not have to put them in for any longer than that. They came out nice and hot and warm, and these are perfect. I just let them cool, put them in a container, and they are good to go for whoever wants them for the week. Trust me, they don't last very long in my house though. Next up, I am going to be making some fried radishes. So these kind of mimic like fried potatoes. I know they're not exact because they are radishes, but in my personal opinion, they're pretty close. I like to soak my fruits and vegetables in vinegar water. It helps get the bacteria off of them. I soak them for about 10 minutes, rinse them off with plain water. I cut the ends off, cleaned them up, and I'm going to use my handy dandy chopper there that I got on Amazon. I will leave the link to this chopper in the description box below. I love this thing. It's amazing and made my life so much easier. And it's not hard, it's not hard to push it down. It just glides right down. It's so sharp, it works wonderfully. Next up, I'm just going to take my brand new pot. So I will leave the link to these pots in the description box as well. I love them. This company reached out to me, asked me to try them out. Love them. I just added some avocado oil to the bottom of that, added all of those chopped radishes, seasoned them up. So I like to add sea salt and then just a little bit of pepper. I just keep it simple. You can add whatever seasonings you want to jazz this meal up, or dish, I should say, up. But the key to radishes is you want to cook them and cook them and cook them. You want to cook them to where they are literally like browning on all the sides. And honestly, when it comes to the radishes, I left mine a little bit bigger than what I normally do. You can make them even smaller, and in my personal opinion, the smaller you make the radishes, the smaller you cut them up, the more they're going to mimic that potato taste. That's just my opinion, but you literally fry these puppies up to where they are browned and getting crispy on the sides and all that jazz. And just keep stirring and stirring. And that's how I like mine. You could actually cook them even a little bit longer. But as you can see, they're definitely browned. They're definitely getting a little bit crispy. And they're perfect like that. I like to add cheese to the top of mine. This is a dish, in my opinion, that you could even have like on the holidays as a side dish. You could even add bacon. You could turn this into loaded radishes. You could really jazz this dish up for the holidays. Next up, I'm going to be making butter ranch chicken. This is about as easy as it gets, you guys. So I'm using that same exact pan that I used for the radishes. That is about 2 tablespoons of butter that I'm just melting in the bottom of that pan. And then we're going to take the chicken thighs that I just showed you. Those are bone in and they did have skin. I took the skin off. Obviously, that's optional. I only like the skin if I'm putting it in the air fryer and I know it's going to get crispy. Other than that, I don't like the skin. But I added that as well as probably another 3 tablespoons of grass-fed Kerrygold butter. And we are going to be adding 2 packets of the Great Value Ranch seasoning. Obviously, you can clean this up because that is dirty keto. You can make your own ranch seasoning. I'll leave a link in the description box below if you want to make your own. I personally did not have any made, and honestly, I didn't have time to worry about making it. This was a dish that I just wanted to be quick. So I only put one ranch seasoning in at a time. I put the lid on that, and the chicken thighs were just slightly frozen still. That did make them just a little bit more watery than typical, but I mean, it was okay. They turned out just fine. I added every single one of those chicken thighs to that pan, so it was definitely crowded, but they still cooked up nicely. You just go in there, move them around a little bit here and there, and they will cook up just fine. Once they cooked down a little bit, I went ahead and added the second packet of ranch, stirred that in just a little bit, and this dish was delicious. This chicken was so moist, and it was like fall off the bone. It had amazing flavor with the ranch and the butter. This chicken went perfect with the loaded radishes, and then I also make cauli mash in this meal prep as well, which is coming up. But definitely easy, definitely a winner. Again, you can clean up that ranch. You don't have to use the ranch packets because that is dirty keto, and you can make your own. Next up, we're making cauliflower mash. I personally love cauliflower mash. This is another amazing recipe to pair with your holiday feast, because who doesn't love mashed potatoes with a holiday feast? I'm a potato girl, so for sure I do. That was one large, very large head of cauliflower that I just cut up and cleaned up the same way that I did the radishes. Once it was boiled, I boiled it. I didn't steam it until it was nice and soft where I could get a fork in it easily, and then I just drained it in the strainer. I did not take a towel and make sure all the moisture was off or anything. I just threw the cauliflower in my blender. That was around 2 to 3 tablespoons of butter, probably around 3 ounces of cream cheese. I'm adding that garlic salt in there as well as some pepper, and then I'm going to blend this. As you blend it, it looks super full, but as you blend it, it will reduce down, and you can add the rest of the cauliflower if you have a huge head of cauliflower like what I used. And then I always taste mine to make sure I have enough seasonings, and I did not, so I did end up adding just a little bit of sea salt to it as well. Y'all, this, in my personal opinion, does not taste any different than mashed potatoes. You could jazz this up as well. You could put bacon in there. You can add some different cheeses. That Mediterranean feta cheese, I wish I had some because I would have put it in there and I would have tried it. Next up, we are going to be making a brand new dish that I'm going to show you. So I'm just going to take that rotisserie, shred it all up, as well as that pepper jack cheese. I actually shredded cheese, y'all. I didn't buy it pre-shredded. That's only because, I couldn't find pepper jack cheese pre-shredded, not gonna lie. So we are going to make kind of like a chicken pepperoni lasagna casserole. And I don't know, I had all these ingredients and I needed to find something to do with them. And so this is what I came up with. And everybody is glad that I came up with that because it was amazing. So I am actually using that Lucini marinara sauce. I think the macros on that is even better than Rayo's, and the price is better as well. The ingredients are clean too. So I decided that was way too much chicken for the casserole. So I went ahead and added about 1/4 of that chicken to a bag, and I just threw that in the fridge. People can eat that as they wish. And then I used half of that jar of marinara. I'm adding in oregano, garlic powder, onion powder, and then we're going in with the good old salt and pepper. So I am going to mix all of that into that chicken. Super flavorful. I like this dish too because you don't have to worry about, making noodles. You don't have to worry about using the palmini noodles and having to boil them and all that good stuff, because the chicken is literally going to be kind of like the noodles. I don't know if that sounds weird, but it's going to be noodleless, I guess. But I'm just gonna layer this like I would if I was making lasagna. So I took half of that chicken marinara, put it at the bottom of that 9x11 dish. I did spray that dish rather well. And then I just grabbed some pepperonis and just started laying down pepperonis. Then I went in with some cottage cheese. So I put several different types of cheeses. So I put cottage cheese, that pepper jack, mozzarella, cheddar cheese, and I also did take out some Parmesan cheese. So I'm gonna do 2 layers. So after I put the cottage cheese, I'm just gonna go in with all of the cheeses. So this first layer, I of course did the cottage cheese, and then I'm gonna go in with the pepper jack, as well as mozzarella and the cheddar cheese. I did not put any of the Parmesan cheese on the middle section because I think Parmesan cheese has definitely a stronger flavor. So I only did the Parmesan cheese on the very top layer. But you know, obviously make this your own, add your own cheeses, and have fun with your meals, y'all. Just create whatever dishes you want. Throw together whatever you want and create your own dish. So as you see, I went ahead and added on all of that second layer. I did add a little bit of that Parmesan cheese, preheated my oven to 400 degrees, baked that for around 35 minutes. As you can see, it is bubbly and brown on the top, and my family absolutely fell in love with this dish. I received so many compliments from this, and there is nothing that makes your heart happier than compliments of things you've created in the kitchen, especially when it's your loved ones. So next up, we are going to be baking those beef hot dogs, and we are going to be wrapping some bacon around them weenies. So just exactly as it sounds, I just grabbed a hot dog, wrapped the bacon around there, and we are going to be cooking that in the air fryer. I do want to mention that that air fryer is 40% off until the 7th. So you have a couple more days to snatch this baby if you are interested. So obviously I turn it on. I left it at 400 degrees and I wasn't for sure about the time, so I put them in for 10 minutes. And you'll see in here in just a second that was not enough time. I like my bacon just a little bit more well done than that, so I went ahead and put them back in the air fryer, same temperature, but I did adjust the time and I put them in for another 6 minutes. I've never cooked them in this air fryer before, so I was definitely guessing, but when they came out the next time, that is actually exactly how I like mine. So if you don't like yours quite that dark, then obviously you can adjust the time and only put them in for maybe like 4 minutes or whatever. But we really liked them like that. They were delicious and definitely filling with the bacon wrapped around the hot dog. So good. All right, so that's going to conclude this week's meal prep. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it inspired you to get in the kitchen and get to cooking for yourself and your family. And like always, I hope it gave you ideas to make sure that you're keeping keto a little bit spiced up. I'm trying to get better about remembering to take pictures like this one, where I have plated up my meal prep foods because I've had many of you guys ask how I eat it or how I incorporate it with other foods. So I'm gonna really try to do better about incorporating more pictures or small little clips of me actually plating up the food so that way you can see how I serve them. But for now, I think that's all I have for you guys. Like always, I'm praying for you, your family, and your country. Thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate every single one of you guys. And don't forget to go out there and make today even better than yesterday. And I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye. On my own, but I don't know why. You hit the road, but you don't realize I won't look back when you're around. I won't think twice when